Joe Namath joins us now here on Lunch Talk Live. Joe, can you believe that here we are in 2020 and we still bring up 52 years ago now and people get these smiles on their face and the memories that come back? Can you believe that it's still as rich as it was 10, 20 years ago?
I feel it. I live it and I like it and I'm thankful. Yes, I'm thankful, man. It's, even as a little kid, you want to win a championship. And as you keep going and grow up to the pros, it's the biggest game of your life. And I'm just thrilled that not only New York City, but the sports world recognizes that huge upset.
Joe, how often have you watched the entire game?
Boy, Mike, I haven't seen the entire game. We went back after the game to New York, our team preseason sat together and looked at it offensively and defensively. When I was working on my book, recent book, I wanted to look at it, and I looked at it for the first time since 1969 with our team in its entirety. And I couldn't help, man. Our offensive line, they did some blocking for Matt Snell, and our defense, I saw in the lead in 4 interceptions. Our defensive line, we outplayed those guys. You see, our team individually and collectively outplayed them. And that was what we wanted to do, expected to do. And Kansas City the next year said, hey, yeah, AFL is here, all right. We won the last 2.
All the Way, My Life in 4 Quarters is the book that Joe's talking about that he went back to watch and helped put together the book by recollecting those memories of the game. Joe, for those who are younger, can you take them back to that time and how different it was and how much the AFL was brought up to the level of the NFL by what you guys were able to do, and then Kansas City, as you said, the very next year?
Yeah, well, we had to prove. The AFL was a young league. I had been watching them since my senior year in high school, part of my senior year. It started in 1960. And as a ball player, you could see the talent that the AFL had. I watched them along with the NFL through college. And when it came time for my opportunity to go into professional football, they were separate leagues, and I was fortunate to be drafted by both leagues and had to make a decision. And my decision, Mike, was based on what my college coach, Paul Bear Bryant at the University of Alabama, told me. He said, Joe, get to know the people you're going to work with. Get to know the coach, get to know the ownership, and maybe make your decision on who you feel best with. And that happened. That happened with Weed Eubank, who was a great coach, had already won a championship in the NFL. Coach Johnny Unitas, who was my idol as a high school guy playing quarterback. And the ownership of the Jets, Mr. Hess, Mr. Werblin, that led the ownership was great. So I got lucky getting Coach Bryant's advice and actually playing for Coach Bryant for 4 years at Alabama.
Amazing history of sports, just when you run through Leon Hess and Sonny Werblin and Bear Bryant and Weeb Eubank and all the people who were around. Why did a guy from Pennsylvania who went to Alabama become such a perfect fit in New York? Why did it work so well for you in NYC?
Perfect? Perfect is far from anything I've ever been associated with, including me. Perfection. What happened is we played football. We had to do it on the field. I fell in love with New York City, certainly with the electricity, the excitement, the pace, the tempo, and all. And the times, collectively in the city, we were pulling together. We had the Vietnam situation going on there in the mid and late 60s. The togetherness was very similar to how our team got together and were able to accomplish that championship. But watching the Green Bay Packers win the first championship game with the Kansas City Chiefs And then Oakland Raiders lost to Green Bay again. The Super Bowls, we had to win, man, and we did. We just outplayed them.
Take us back to the guarantee, because it's become the story of lore and so much. And I've loved over the years getting to know Brent Musburger a little bit. He was one of the journalists right around your launch, your chair there by the pool when the famed guarantee happened. That's the one thing that when you show students of journalism now, young reporters, that's the thing that people shake their head. Wait a minute. This is the week of the Super Bowl. This is the starting quarterback, and everybody's crowded around the pool talking to this guy. It was a different time, Joe.
It was a different time, and it was a different game. You know, the game has evolved into what we have today is the best that's ever been played with the best athletes that have ever been on earth. But at that time, Weeb Ewbank, going back to our coach, Weeb Ewbank, who had already won a national championship, as I mentioned, didn't want to change things. He said, look, fellas, we're going down to Miami and prepare for the game just like we're going to prepare, or we have prepared for every game throughout the season. So we were loose. We were angry, and that, you know, you can't help but listen to the media, some about the sports or whatever. And whenever you're told throughout the week or 2 weeks, 10 days, that you're an 18-point underdog, that you have virtually no chance to win the game, and all the smart procrastinators had picked the other team, it gets under your skin there a bit, you see. And whenever I made that statement, we're going to win the game, I guarantee you, that was in response to a wise guy in the back of a room the Thursday night before the championship game. And he said, hey, Nameth, we're going to kick your you-know-what. And I said, wait a minute, man, I got news for you. We're going to win the game, I guarantee it. And our defense, the guys, our team stepped up, man, and outplayed them.
You know, I said before about you being the perfect fit with New York, and I understand what you were saying about the times and developing to that point, but you have stayed in an association with the city, its people. You go somewhere in New York and people yell across the street, Broadway Joe. You somehow found a way to be that magical figure to connect the city at a difficult time. And our country's going through difficult times right now. You can speak to the power of sports and the celebrity that guys like you who are stars can have that can make a difference in connecting people in the city who may not be on the same page and other stuff. That's got to feel pretty powerful for an athlete.
You know, Mike, over the years, I've thought about these things a lot of times, and I realized most everything starts at home. Starts at home with the environment, with the family, with mom and dad, with brothers and sisters, and how you respect people. At home, in my house, our household, my parents taught us respect. And you didn't discriminate with one another, whoever's out there, with the respect. You treat people the way you wanted them to treat your family and friends. And so my years through New York, man, life's a two-way street, as we know. I was fortunate to meet good people and some, you know, I wasn't always on top of the ball, but, and I fumbled a few times, but I met some people in the streets too that weren't so righteous. But you treat people with respect, and those that you know, don't share that kind of attitude, you just try to keep your distance from. New York is wonderful. I love it. I still get back there. It was because, and it's to this day, because of the people I met there and how they treated me, the good people. And we still have a wonderful relationship. And it is. And these days, what we're going through, it starts at home, no matter what color you are, ethnicity, whatever. And these youngsters that are growing up, you know, we need to educate them. We need to help them with their education. But if the teachers at home aren't teaching the righteous way, then the young animal infers that and he grows up with it and it becomes a part of his life. So we need to look in the mirror. The adults need to look in the mirror at home and how they treat their children and raise their children. And because they're going to reflect us in our attitudes. And we have so much pain in our history. This is an awful way to try to correct our history. We're not going to make it better overnight, but we have an opportunity now. Now, together, we see through these demonstrations, not only in our country, but around the world, we need to do better.
Right.
And we have an opportunity to improve. So please, let's all take advantage of this. Look in the mirror and see how we feel about what we can do and helping other people or helping the rest of this country get better and on an even level, an even page or a page that we're all treated with respect and with righteousness.
Powerful stuff. And I appreciate your history of meeting so many people in New York, being a friend to so many New Yorkers over the years and touching so many lives. I gotta ask you this before I let you go. What do you think of Sam Darnold, the Jets quarterback? You're the guy who everybody comes to ask. What do you think of what you've seen in Sam the first couple of years?
Sam can play. He's growing. He's going to improve. He's going to get better. But Mike, like most things in life, it's a team game, man. He'll step up. I believe he's going to get better, but he needs to have the teammates also, and they're improving. Douglas has done a good job bringing in some new players. It remains to be seen. But Mike, competition is keen. There's a lot of good teams out there, and it takes a collective effort to put together a championship run, and I can only hope that the Jets will improve and make the playoffs this year.
I know no person would be happier, other than those related to those players, than Joe Namath to see the Jets have one more good run. Joe, thanks for the time. It's great to catch up with you. Can't wait to watch Super Bowl III Sunday night here on NBCSN, and you stay well.
Thank you, Michael. You too.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.